Glynn, I want to thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed this morning. You have been a councilman now. You're one of the longest serving city councilmen. Many people just know you as that. How did you even get started in this?
It's funny, yes. First of all, thanks for interviewing and giving me an opportunity to share. I think history is important, and our kids need to know it doesn't just start at the end, it starts at the beginning. My father was a precinct committeeman back in the 50s. And at the time, there were no African Americans on city council. And John Knuckles, who was our barber, ran for office, and the community galvanized itself. And my father had the little Hineses out there doing door hangers and stuff like that. So I got indoctrinated at a very early age, around 9 years old.
Okay.
And John Knuckles won. But the most important thing about his win was, at that time, 1959, 75% of registered voters voted. 75%. And I think that it says a lot about when people are highly motivated and they're looking to elect someone, just like this year, you're going to see a high degree of motivation. So that's got me started because my dad's influence.
Okay. So when you finally got into office, did you feel overwhelmed?
Well, no.
Did you look at the situation and say, okay, how can I bring about positive change?
No. What actually happened, I was the campaign manager for Archie Lundsey when he first won office in 1991. So I was able to be on the campaign, run a campaign, and help him win. So I had an opportunity to understand the inner workings of council. And I've always been an activist. I'm vice president NAACP, work with the Urban League on functions, community organizer. So I had the juice in terms of understanding what it took in order to be a part of the action-oriented folks. So when I came to council, I was ready day one. I was what I call prime time ready day one, because I had prepared myself. And then I had a little help in that, rest his soul, Cletus Edmonds died in April of 1999 while we were running for office. He and I were running for the Democratic ticket. I went to Myrtle Beach to play golf. When I was gone, he ended up dying in his sleep. So they appointed me to finish out his term. So from April to November, I was in the seat. And then in November, when I won, I beat Kevin Howell, the Republican candidate, and I came on office, elected November 1999.
During this time that you have been in office, the southeast side of Fort Wayne has undergone a tremendous amount of change. We have lost a number of stores, a number of businesses. Why do you think that is, first of all? And how can we reverse that? How can we bring things back?
Yeah, part of my motivation for running for office was Southtown was becoming dilapidated. So we did eminent domain, condemnation, and we took the city, took over Southtown, and we developed it because it was trending in that direction. The why, I wish I had the answer, but there's a number of components to it. Earlier I was telling you about how Ellis Ayers stopped stocking quality products. So the quality of the products in the stores went down, and stores' profit margins, because I think the economy went up and down. And what happened was the owners of the Southtown specifically moved out, but we then went back and got Walmarts and Menards and some other businesses. And even to this day, the challenge has been, how do we attract businesses? And that's still a challenge. Now, all these stupid gas stations, convenience stores, we don't want those. We don't need those. We have too many because they're predatory in nature and they don't bring any real value to the community. That's why one of my projects is looking at adding grocery stores with fresh meats, fresh fruit, because it's a food desert on the southeast side of Fort Wayne, and we've got to correct that. And that's one of the last things I want to do before I leave office. If I don't accomplish it, at least get the ball rolling in that direction. So the challenges for economic development are there, housing-wise, and I told the city, we get an A+ for housing. There's a lot of housing initiatives southeast, but very little retail commercial development, comparatively speaking, other than those stupid gas stations. How do I really feel?
Right, I know. Yeah. Right now I'm looking at this long list of accomplishments. You have had your hand in a number of different things. This is your legacy.
Yeah.
What do you hope to see in the future?
Actually, what I just said, the continuation of some of these. If I was to put an asterisk by these, Southtown would have the first asterisk because of the eminent domain condemnation and the fight that we had to acquire the property and then to attract. Because at first we had no one that wanted to come to Southtown. I mean, was it Menards or Walmart or Myers? And we finally got those, so that happened. So I want to see that continue. The worst thing would be for Southtown to dissipate. And then, of course, add new stores. The mayor has put up land where any nice restaurant can come to that area. So I want to see that happen. So we're trying to work.
Like in the old Target location, in the old Kmart location.
Yeah.
A lot of those areas still need something.
Yeah, they do. And Target is actually been purchased by, you know, the cloud where all the data is stored. That's the cloud business there. So that's why they have the bricks out front, because it's a data storage for insurance companies out of Indianapolis. So that's functioning. The Kmart, we really need to put something in there. But again, I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
The other legacy for me has been McMillan Park. The McMillan Park Community Center was the old ice rink. And they were talking about demolishing it, but I had built up enough votes so that when the legacy dollars came available, and a lot of people don't know that the first $2 million out of legacy came to McMillan. So when we look at all the legacy projects and investments, the McMillan Park Community Center was the first dedication of $2 million out of that fund. And that, you're talking about legacy continuing. I'd like to see it become a community resource complex. And that is to say we have young people there, like right now in the summer, they're over there doing activities. We have senior citizens. You ever heard of pickleball? There's like a pickleball league over there. And then, of course, soccer field, the football, the baseball. We just had the summer celebration with the Ohio players and the Gap Band. We had 7,000 people out in the park. The Lifetime Sports Academy with golf, tennis, and swimming. We promote that. So I want to see that continue for future. Right. Those are the kinds of things that I don't want to see them go away. And then, of course, within what used to be the Hannah Creighton area, which is now known as Renaissance, we've got great housing initiatives over there with the Bottle Works, the Vincent Village, Hannah, Villages of Hannah, all those housing development, but we don't have commercial development. So I'm working on looking at a couple of grocery stores, retail establishments in that area. So that is future-wise. Whoever comes along and takes my place, and I'll still be active. We've got to make sure that we get that other piece so we get rid of the food desert, because in that area, there is no, other than those stupid gas stations, how do I really feel? Other than those gas stations, you just have predatory pricing. You have candy, lottery tickets, no fresh fruit, no fresh vegetables, and that's why with the food desert, we're trying to push for the urban gardens. Okay. And part of the Johnny May facility that's over there is to get fresh fruit and, of course, at one point in time, fresh meats into that community. Because the health issue with our youth is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And part of that is because of these predatory gas stations, convenience stores that enter selling them. And they're proud that they sell candy by the quarter. You can go in there with a quarter and buy a handful of candy, whatever. And it's horrible. And we've got to find a way to circumvent that and to get healthy, holistic approaches to the health of our community.
You're leaving soon. When are you leaving and why?
Well, December 31st is the last day of 2019 that I will serve in this capacity. And the reason primarily why is my health. I am now on dialysis Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for 4 hours a day. And it takes a lot out of you when you go on that machine. And I'm on the list for kidney replacement. So I know me. And I'm the little bunny rabbit that just goes. And I have been slow. I'm like, what's wrong with you? That's not you. And I am concerned about my own personal health, and my wife is. So we decided together that it would be best not to run again and to actually give someone else an opportunity early to start their campaign, to do fundraising, to do messaging. So I intentionally announced in March that I wouldn't run again next year. Plus, it gives somebody that opportunity to build a campaign.
So you have basically a year left. In that year, what do you plan to do? What do you plan to seize? What are you going to do?
Oh, I got it right here. Number one is Posterity Place initiative.
Okay.
Prophet Walker has 2 of the buildings up, but that's phase 1. Phase 2 and 3 are yet to be developed. So we've got to get support for that. And that is they're taking single parents, and they will be able to house there. They'll be able to get transportation to their employment or to school. So there's an education component and there's a workforce readiness component. And there will be a daycare there on site. And they're working with I&M to get solar power to generate energy for that site so that the price point for energy, at least electricity, is down. So that to me that's my main
top, right.
That's top.
Okay.
And to get the mayor and to get legacy dollars is a struggle for that, and it shouldn't be. I mean, if you want to go chase, don't get me started. If you want to go chase $50 million for electric works or $20 million for the Omnisource property, we should be investing heavily in there, but we're not, but we need to. Vincent Village they're doing 40 houses. I think 20 of them are already done, and people are living in there, low to moderate income. And Vincent Village takes in the homeless, and then they get them into a rental, and then eventually to a purchase mode. So we got to follow up on that. Villages of Hannah is almost done. That used to be the old Eden Green. They had the gang over there, the EGs. We've got that out of there. So they went back and they Millennia did an investment in the property. If you drive through there, it's great. And we've got a real good quality of individuals, residents living there. Ideal Homes is going to do another 50 homes, and that's the Biggs group. Okay. And back in the day, Lancia, Delagrange didn't come to our neighborhood to build, but they did. Biggs group and Ideal Homes came in, did the initial investment. We're really proud of them. So these are some of the things that got me fired up every day. It's about 18 months, 14 months-ish, and every day, in every way, through the grace of God, I try to do better and better to serve the community, because it is about servant leadership in action.
So many people don't know what's your regular job.
Oh, I'm retired.
Right.
I was a teacher. I used to teach at Paul Harding High School, and then when they closed, we went to New Haven, the Jobs for America's Graduates, the JAG program. And it was a workforce readiness for juniors and seniors in high school and also college prep. So we had about 40 kids that we worked with that we specifically gave them the soft skills to go out and get a job, and we paid, that is, Brightpoint paid for them to go and to do internships, and we did the FAFSA. We helped them with the college entrance and all that, the college visits. So we had a group of kids, and it's so funny, Raven Morton, which was one of my students, went to IU, got her degree, came back. She took my place at New Haven as the JAG instructor when I retired in 2016.
Okay. Do you miss working with kids?
I still work with kids. I volunteer over at McMillan all the time. I work with the Lifetime Sports Academy. So in the classroom setting, I don't do that, but in the community, I've done it for a number of years, way back to Stop the Madness. I used to be the director of that, and I worked with kids. And before that, the Youth Empowerment Seminar. I used to bring in guest speakers every Black History Month to talk to the kids about careers and things of that nature. So I've always will be active in working with youth.
If you had to give an outgoing, short message to your constituents, what would you tell them?
I would say that I use the term servant leadership, and I was real good at planning, organizing, and most importantly, implementing strategies to bring about improvement. It wasn't about something just pops up. That's why I get frustrated with not being able to bring more retail and commercial development, because we're out there. There's a group called the Gibbs Study, and then there was one called Indigo that we actually went out of the town, hired this group to come in and to do the analysis. So we got the empirical data. We know that the Southeast side can support all these other retail establishments, but to the citizens, I would say that I've always fought on your behalf. It was about being a servant leader. It wasn't about an ego and me, and I've enjoyed it. And that's why I can easily step back after 19 plus years and next year 20 plus years and hand the mantle off to someone else and say good luck. Because I paid my dues. I've worked hard every day for you. And when my health started, to way, I was like, time to step away. It's best for the community. is best for me. And that's my swan song.
Are you going to miss it?
Of course, I'll miss it I like the action. I like the juice. I like being at the council table because I think I'm kind of smart, and I get an opportunity. To engage, folks that don't have a great appreciation for the Southeast side. But I was able to get a lot of these things. That's why I listed. It's over $100 million of investment that I've been a part of, and there's about another $100 million in the pipeline that can be done. So I really, really enjoy it. But see, what I'll do is I'll just go back into a different mode. I'll be volunteering. Condra Ridley has just talked to me about helping with the African American Museum. I'll probably get involved in that. I'll always be working with kids in some capacity. So it's not like I'm going to fade away in the dark. I'll still be doing it, but in a different channel, a different direction.
Anything you wish to add that I haven't already asked?
No, I appreciate you and all that you do. You came to Harding and you spoke to my kids and motivated them a few years back. And I enjoy working in the community, either in this political realm or in the private realm, working with this community. I love Fort Wayne. I've lived other places, and I moved back to Fort Wayne when my daughters were 2 and 4 because I wanted to raise them here in Fort Wayne, and this is my home.